Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you very much for joining me today and Happy New Year to you all. So today this video accompanies my design team blog post for the Inspire.Create challenges. So we're on to challenge number 133, which is a themed challenge to which is new to you. So whether it's something, a new product or whatever, or something that was previously in the catalogue that you've only just used or anything like that. So today I am using something that is brand new. This is going to be in the mini catalogue that launches in a few days time, so you'll be able to purchase that then. But as a demonstrator, I have been able to pre-order some of these lovely goodies. So we're working with Dainty Delight, which is a bundle with the coordinating Dainty Delight dies. Okay, so some of the dies are missing there, as you might imagine. Okay, but really nice, pretty floral set with a few sentiments in there as well for sort of very nice generic sort of sentiments, and then a nice thank you there as well. So the die cut elements, there are things that match the stamps, but there's also some lovely little standalone flowers there as well, so they're going to be nice to use too. So that's what we're using, and we're going to create this card today using those pretty die cuts to build up a nice sort of textured card. And this one uses a soft seafoam card base with granny apple green layer in there, and I've just coloured the image with some Stampin' blends. And I'm also going to use one of our new punches as well, so a bit like the the picker banners and the treasured tags. We've got a new one now that gives you like these ticket ends on there. Okay, so again using the same thing, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch strips just to get those decorative edges. So we'll be bringing that in as well. Alright, so let's get started then. You know, I like to just sort of do a different colourway with you all, so I'm going to pull in the pinks for this one. So like I did with this one, this is a subtle with a bright, the soft seafoam is subtle, with the granny apple green, which is a bright. So for this one I've brought in Blushing Bride and Flirty Flamingo, so that's a subtle, that's a bright. Okay, and the layering I've done today are what I call mini layers, so these are 1 inch shorter and narrower. Okay, so the flirty there, that's 3 1/8 across, so the card is 4 1/8, this is 3 1/8. It's scored at 5 7/8, so this is 4 7/8, and then the basic white here is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so that's 3 inches wide by 4 3/4. So that's what the base of the card is going to be. Okay. This beautiful die, this is going to be a really nice die to use, and you're going to be able to build up wreaths and things like that, which is going to be cool. Got an idea of another card that we'll do in the future. So I've got one ready to die cut, which I'll just put to one side on my die cut platform ready to go, and I've already cut one ahead of time, okay, because I want to build up the background here. Got a 3/4 inch strip here that's just over 3 inches long, just to allow us to stamp our sentiment, and then I've got a scrap there for the main image. Right, so our main image, because we're going to colour with blend, because I really like colouring with blends. You can use watercolour pencils, and if you prefer, you can use Stampin' Up markers, but for those water-based products, colouring mediums, you will need a water-resistant ink, so you need to use StazOn. But for the Stampin' blends, the Memento Tuxedo Black is the best thing to use. So I did some light tapping with the ink pad onto the top of there, because it's a larger stamp, it's easier to take your ink pad to the stamp, and this is on an I block. Just hovering that over that scrap there, so it's just about big enough to transfer that image, and we're just going to put some nice firm pressure all over that. You could also use the Stampin' as well if you wanted to, if you're making multiples. Okay, so nice firm pressure to get that stamped. Okay, and then while we're doing some stamping, I'm going to bring in my trusty H block. This is one of the most versatile blocks. H and D, they're the ones, if you're just starting out, get those. Okay, and just to sort of match with the sample card, I've stamped the sentiment in the layering colour. So in this case, that's going to be Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so we'll pop that open. Light tapping on the ink pad. The smaller stamps, you just take it to the ink pad. Okay, and the other thing I want to do is be able to make sure that that's straight. So I'm going to bring in my grid here. This is the deluxe mat from the Stampin' Up, which allows me just to make everything straight on the counter there. And I'm going to have to pull it closer to me though, so I can get my head over the top, but hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. But I'm just hovering over the top of the piece of cardstock there, and because I've already tested out the stamp, I know it's mounted straight, so I'm lining up the block with a line on the grid as well. And when you're ready, you just go down on there and lift up, and hopefully it's something like straight, and it's straight enough for me. Okay, well actually I might leave that out for a second. So we've got those elements done. Okay, so what we can do now is get some of this colouring done. So I'm going to stick with the Granny Apple for the foliage. Now this is really small details on this. Okay, so this is not blending or anything, we're just dropping some colour in onto those images. Okay, so our new mini catalogue has got lots of lovely floral images in it, and in fact there's if you stop by later, there'll be another video with another set being featured on, which has sort of similar sort of sketchy elements to it, but I won't tell you what. You can go back and have a look at that. So just popping those on, and it is literally just popping that colour in. And do you know what? If you miss anything, it ain't going to be the end of the world either. So we'll just put those in there. Okay. There's like it's a mixture of flowers. I think it's kind of like a wildflower kind of little bouquet thing. Okay, this looks a little bit like Queen Anne's lace, which we had a stamp set for, which was very, very nice. So that's what did I find out that was? Wild carrot, I think it was, or something. And there's these little ones down here, which I'm just going to do in some Highland Heather. So there's like different blooms all over the place. I think I might just do these little ones with a bit of yellow as well. Again, not being super careful with any of this. Oh, and that one. Same sort of shape. Ooh, get those lids on nice and securely on your markers so they don't dry out. And then these ones we're going to do with the Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so like I say, nothing super special about the colouring at all, just to get some colour into that image. And we've got the coordinating die here, which lines up really, really nicely. So if you just pick a leaf at the bottom and just line up that top little sprout at the top, that should be just about right. And we'll just hold that down with a little bit of low tape. Okay, and we'll cut that die cut that out on my, I'm going to use the Big Boss. These would go through the mini, but I'm going to cut them both at the same time. Oh, I need to leave that out. And so I'm using the larger machine, but if you're doing it individually, those would go through the mini, no problem. There's a limited edition mini that's going to be available for as part of that new joining offer as well, so keep your eyes peeled for details on that. Okay, so there we are, beautifully die cut there. Okay, and then this one, it's very delicate. So the one I've already done, I did actually break slightly as I was pulling it out of the die, and that was just me being very heavy-handed with it. So just take it easy when you're releasing this from the die. So you just want to use a little pokey tool or a die brush, whichever tool you prefer, and just use those little release holes just to loosen that from the die, and then it should just lift out at the back if it doesn't fall out on its own. Okay, so there we have that. Element 2. So I'll just pop those out of the way just for a second and get those little bits out of the way. And we've got that. Okie dokie. So just on, before I put away this little mat, what I'm going to do is on the layer we're going to use for the what do you call it, for the card, I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on here. So I'm going to use the lighter shade for that, if there isn't enough on this brush, but on the green one there was enough residual ink on the brush to add that colour. So, but on this occasion I just need a little more, so just going easy there. Only want a little hint of the colour, so just want a little teeny tiny bit. So if you take off the excess on the mat before you come onto the card, and then you can build up those layers of colour until it gets to a point that you want. So I only want it really nice and subtle, barely anything on there. In fact, you might not even be able to see it that well on the camera, but it's enough just to give us a bit of contrast with the background elements. So this is one of our regular brushes that I've used because I'm wanting a big soft area. Okay, but we will be having some small blending brushes available in the new mini catalogue as well, so they're about half the size. Okay, so they're going to be good for more detailed work. Again, these come in packs of 3, as do these ones as well. Alright, okay, so just a little sneaky peek there at something else that's coming. Right, ink pads away. Okay, I don't think we need that anymore, so just pop that to one side, and that ink will just wipe off. This is a resistant surface, so you can just spritz it with some water and clean that off, so that's going to be perfect. So we just need to put things together. So I'm just going to grab my my adhesive of choice is Stampin' Seal, because I like quick, easy, sort of instant. Okay, but I'm going to be using a combination of adhesives today. So say Seal is my go-to for just putting together layers like this, and if you just rest it on the project, you do have a little bit of time just to sort of make sure that that's where you want it to be, and then when you've got it right, you can just press it down. So you just have so as long as you don't press it down, just got a little bit of movement there. Okay, so that's there and ready to go. Okay, So now we want to add our little dainty bits here. Okay, so this one had a little bit of a calamity, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So I've actually nipped the end off this one because I know I didn't want it to be the full length, and I might even have to cut off a little more. Yeah, I'm going to just cut off a little more on that. I'm just going to take it to there, I think, and pop that away. So we're going to secure that so it's sort of running along the bottom of the card here where the sentiment is going to lie. Okay, and we're actually, because this is so dainty, we're going to use a little bit of wet glue and just some dabs of it, really, to be honest. It's just so that it secures somewhere. So there's a bit at the bottom, a bit at the top, just to secure that into place. So it's just going to run along the bottom there and then over the edge of our layer, like so. And you just want to hold that down just for a moment or two while that grabs. It only doesn't take a moment. Okay, and then this one, again, we are going to have to cut that down slightly. So I don't know why I put my scissors away. That was daft, wasn't it? This one's going to go sort of up here and frame the rest of the image. I like it overhanging that border just to give it a bit more of a look. And then these sort of scruffy bits will be covered by our other elements anyway. So again, just some dabs of glue on there in some strategic places that you're not going to put your fingers in. That's why I don't like wet glue, because it always ends up in I always end up in a mess with it. Probably because I'm not very delicate. Okay, so I want it going over the edge, so just press that into place. Could stick a block over the top just to hold it down just for a second. Like so. Okay, so because it's not all stuck down, you've just got a little bit of movement on there, which I really like. Okay, so we've used seal, we've used our multi-purpose adhesive, the wet glue Tombow mono liquid glue, they call it, multi-purpose glue, and then my other favourite thing in the world are these dimensionals. So as the name suggests, it gives you the dimension, but again, it's a dry adhesive. It doesn't, you know, it's not messy at all. So that means that this can pop onto here and just cover up any straggly bits that might be on there, like so. And again, because it's not all stuck down, you've just got that little bit of movement. All right, and then this guy is going to go across here, so you can keep it straight, you can cut it at a wonk, do anything you like with that, really. But like I say, I just thought it'd be cute just to sort of give it this nice little what's that called, scalloped edge. Okay, so this punch is going to help me do that. So I'm just going to pop that in. So it's cut to 3/4 of an inch. So when you're cutting your cardstock, you want to allow about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a bit more, because it will shorten that off. So if you're cutting your strips down, just bear that in mind. So you might want to just add on 1/4 of an inch just to allow for that those little pieces to come off of the end. All right. Okay. So that's a really cute punch. Nice quick way to do that. You might have decorative scissors or something like that as well that could do the same job, but thought I'd use that today. And then we're going to pop that across there. Now we've got lots of height here, so I want to put a dimensional over here to support that at the end, and then we'll just put some wet glue over there. And I'm actually going to cheat and put my dimensional in first, because I know that's where it's going to go, and I know it's not going to overhang. And then we'll just pop our, just a little blob, oops, I'll put it on top of the dimensional, blob of glue there. So again, it's overhanging that, that border that we've got, which I think it just sort of brings the whole thing together. And that wet glue will just help keep that end secure. Okay, now I've not added any embellishments to that at all. but of course you could if you so wished. Some Wink Stella as well, all that kind of thing. So you could jazz this up as much as you like. You could add some ribbon behind there as well. So lots of different options that you could do. But that's my card for today using Dainty Delight. Let's just bring that stamp set back in so you can see it. Dainty Delight, brand new. Okay, will be available to buy from the 4th of Jan. Coordinating dies that go with it, and there you go. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do click along to the blog and have a look at everyone else's project in the design team, and then don't forget that you can enter your image as well. We've got a slightly different way of doing that, which should be a much easier interface. You just upload an image of your creation, anything that's new to you. Okay, super duper. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Again, happy new year to you all. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.